My name is Dave. I'm a 48-year-old CEO of a technology company. I've been married to my wife Jenny for 25 years, and we have two wonderful sons, Sean, who is 22 years old and attending MIT, and Danny, who has just turned 20 and is studying at Harvard. From an outsider's point of view, our marriage is undoubtedly successful and happy. We live in a beautiful home in a wealthy neighborhood in Boston and have a lovely golden retriever, Sam, as a pet. I have a thriving business that has doubled in market value over the past few years, and Jenny is a respected housewife who devotes much of her time to her family and charitable endeavors and is well known in the local high society circles. But only I knew that underneath all the glamour and glitz, our marriage was already full of holes. In retrospect, the problems between Jenny and I have existed since the beginning of our marriage. We met in college and quickly fell in love. At that time, Jenny was a popular figure in the campus. Her charming appearance and lively and cheerful personality made her the object of many boys' pursuit. I was just an ordinary student in the computer science department, with mediocre looks and a mute personality. I once felt like dreaming to be favored by Jenny. However, after waking up from the dream, I realized that there was no tacit understanding and romance between us as I had imagined. Jenny wants to be a socialite and likes to go to all kinds of parties, while I just want to work in a quiet environment and prefer to stay home to read or play golf. Jenny wants me to be more energetic in my career, while I just want to be a responsible husband and father. As time passed, the gap between us became deeper and deeper. Although in front of our children and outsiders, we are still a model couple, but only each other know that the silent war has been started. I began to doubt whether Jenny married me just to lead a superior life, and whether I was just doing my duty as a husband, not out of sincere love for her. Thus, we are in our 25th year of marriage. At the suggestion of our sons, we decided to organize a silver wedding party to celebrate a marriage that was not perfect, but that had lasted a quarter of a century. Underneath the apparent calm, I had a vague feeling that something was about to happen that I might not be able to stop. It all started that seemingly normal Tuesday morning. I woke up early as usual to get ready for a meeting at the office. When I opened my closet to get a suit, I noticed that Jenny's side of the closet seemed to have been rearranged, and some new clothes that I had never seen her wear before were hanging at the top. It wasn't a big deal, but for some reason, a bad feeling came over me. I thought back to Jenny's behavior lately, her frequent late nights, her intentionally lowered voice when she answered the phone, and the look in her eyes that made her want to say something. All the signs pointed to the fact that something was going on, and I was probably the last to know. With a lot of doubts, I came to the company. As I was about to enter the conference room, my secretary, Mary, came rushing in and said there was a delivery I had to sign for in person. I wondered if there had been any important deliveries lately, but I complied. When I opened the brown envelope, a photo and a note fell out. The photo is a woman in revealing clothes and a man in front of the hotel kissing scene. Although the woman's back to the camera, but the body and hair clearly is Jenny. And the man looks younger than Jenny at least 10 years. Thick black hair, tall body, and handsome looks. How to look at it is not like it can only be a janitorial staff of people. The note had only one anonymous line. Maybe it's time for you to pay better attention to your wife. My mind buzzed and went blank. My hands and feet were cold. I was short of breath, and I felt like I was spinning around, almost fainting. My hands and feet were cold. I was short of breath. I felt like the sky was spinning, and I almost fainted on the ground. Mary helped me into the meeting room and poured a glass of water for me. I composed myself and said to Mary, "I'm fine. Maybe I'm just too tired from work lately. Please help me cancel all the meetings today. I want to take a rest." Mary seemed to see what was going on and was hesitant to say anything, but did it anyway. I sat alone in the conference room, my mind a mess. I couldn't believe that my beloved wife, the loving mother of my children, would do such a thing. Was it real? Or was someone trying to hurt our marriage? Countless questions swirled in my mind, but I knew that I had to calm down and find the truth. As a successful businessman, I know that in order to make the right decision, I have to gather enough information first. I had to find out the identity of this mysterious man, his relationship with Jenny, and whether or not our marriage could continue. I picked up the phone and dialed the number of my most trusted private investigator, Kevin. "Kevin, I need your help. For the next few days, I lived like a zombie. On the surface, I was still the same smart and capable CEO, but deep down, I felt unprecedented pain and struggle. I could not believe that the woman I had loved for half my life would betray our marriage. My only hope is that Kevin will find the truth soon. As an experienced private detective, Kevin has his own unique intelligence network and investigative methods. I gave him the photo and the note, asking him to find out the identity of the mysterious man and his relationship with Jenny. At the same time, I began to pay close attention to Jenny's every move. I found that she had been acting very strange lately. She always left early and came home late, avoided answering my questions, and sometimes even smiled at her cell phone. All these things made me feel scared. About a week later, Kevin brought me the first report of the investigation. The mystery man's name was Simon, a cleaner at Jenny's charitable foundation. He was 32 years old, 13 years younger than Jenny. According to Kevin's research, Simon has an amazing appearance and physique, but his education and financial status are very ordinary. Kevin also discovered that Jenny and Simon had been seeing each other many times over the past few months, at various hotels and at Simon's apartment. They would pretend not to know each other while Jenny was at a charity event, but then they'd meet up quickly afterward. And to break my heart, Kevin even caught them kissing and hugging. "Dave, I'm sorry," Kevin said, "but from the evidence so far, Jenny and that Simon are having an affair. It's been going on for at least 3 months, and it looks like it's heating up." I felt so shaken that I could hardly breathe. What I had feared most had really happened. My beloved wife, the respected mother of my children, was cheating on me behind my back. And the damn third party was a handsome young cleaner with nothing to lose. Anger, sadness, shame, unwillingness. Countless complex emotions are intertwined in my heart. I feel my heart was torn into countless pieces. But I know, I cannot just collapse. I must do something. "Thank you, Kevin," I said calmly. "Please follow up on this and make sure you find solid evidence. I want Jenny to know that what she did has completely destroyed our marriage and our family." Hanging up the phone, I was in deep thought. 25 years of marriage, ruined by another man. I didn't understand why Jenny had to do it. Was I not good enough? Or, she doesn't love me at all, just for my money? No matter what, I have to make a decision. But before that, I want to meet that damn third party. I want to ask him face to face why he stole my wife and happiness. I grabbed my car keys and headed for the address Kevin had given me. A storm was coming. I waited outside Simon's apartment for 2 hours until he came home from work. When I saw his handsome face and strong body, I felt an ache in my heart. No wonder Jenny was attracted to him. He was the perfect man for a woman's dream. I pushed down my anger, walked up and blocked Simon's way. "You're Simon, aren't you? I think we need to talk." Simon didn't seem surprised to see me. "You must be Dave, Jenny's husband." I knew this day would come sooner or later. We walked into Simon's tiny apartment, which was Spartan, but neat and tidy. I looked around and noticed that the walls were covered with pictures of Jenny and Simon together, and in those pictures, they were so close and happy. I felt a wave of nausea, and I could barely contain myself from smashing the pictures. "I just want to know, why are you doing this? What is it about Jenny that attracts you? Do you realize that you've ruined our marriage?" Simon was silent for a few moments, then slowly said, "Dave, I'm so sorry to put you through this. I know it must be hard for you to accept, but I think you should know that there's more than just physical attraction between Jenny and me. We first met at a charity foundation event. At that time, Jenny was collecting donations for an aid program for underprivileged children, and I was deeply touched by her generosity and kindness. We talked a lot and realized that we shared the same vision and pursuit. Later, when we started seeing each other more often, planning charity projects together, discussing life and aspirations, Jenny told me that she was very unhappy in her marriage. She said you always put your work first and hardly cared about her feelings. She longs to be loved and cared for, and that's exactly what you can't give her. Dave, I love Jenny, and she loves me. We're not just physically attracted to each other, we're soulmates. I know that Jenny was never the most important thing in your marriage, but in my case, she always comes first." Hearing Simon's words, I felt dizzy. It turned out that during the years when I was fighting for my career, I had neglected Jenny's feelings and failed to give her enough love and care. No wonder she went into another man's arms for comfort. But is that a reason to betray me? We've been married for 25 years. We've been through so much together. How can she just give up? Not to mention, we have 2 children. Thinking about Sean and Danny made my heart ache again. They adored their mother so much. What would they think if they knew she had betrayed the family? Is the family we've built so hard going to fall apart like this? Countless thoughts swirled in my head, and I felt more pain and helplessness than ever before. I didn't know how to face Jenny, how to face the children, how to face our friends and family. A once happy family was mercilessly torn apart. I fell into a chair, sobbing uncontrollably, and Simon seemed to be infected by my sadness as he gently patted me on the shoulder and said, "Dave, I'm sorry. But maybe it's best for both of you to let go." Yeah, let go. Hearing these 2 words, my heart seemed to be torn into 2 halves. Half in the angry roar, want me to defend their own dignity, to the betrayal of my woman a lesson. The other half is begging, let me think about it, is not their own, cannot shirk the responsibility. At that moment, I knew I had to make a decision that would determine the future of me, Jenny, and the kids. When I came out of Simon's apartment, I felt confused and helpless. I walked aimlessly on the street. My mind was in chaos. Jenny's betrayal and Simon's words were like sharp blades on my heart. I don't know how to face all this. As a husband, should I fight back and defend my dignity, or should I calm down and make a last-ditch effort for the marriage? Just then, my cell phone rang. It was Kevin. "Dave, I've made some new discoveries. Can you talk to me now?" I took a deep breath and said, "Sure, I'll come over to you now." 20 minutes later, I arrived at Kevin's office, who looked a little tired, but had a very excited look in his eyes. "Dave, I think I found some key evidence," Kevin said, opening his computer. I hacked into Jenny's email and found a large number of emails between her and Simon. "Look at these." I went to the computer, only to see countless email records displayed on the screen. Some of them were sweet words, some were plans to cheat on me, and some were complaints and dissatisfaction with me, in which Jenny unreservedly expressed her disappointment with me, her boredom with the marriage, and her infatuation with Simon. "Dear Simon, I'm tired of this life. Dave never cares about my feelings. He only cares about his career and himself. I feel so empty and lonely. It is only in your arms that I feel truly happy. I want to be with you forever." When I read this, I could no longer control my emotions and my eyes were blurred with tears. I felt a sense of suffocating despair. It turned out that in Jenny's heart, our marriage had already existed in name only. What she loves is never me, but that damn Simon. "Dave, I'm sorry," Kevin said softly, "but that's not all. I've also found out some information about Simon, and you should definitely check this out." Kevin opened another folder with some photos and documents. I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw the contents. As it turns out, Simon is not a simple cleaner. He has many unknown identities: fitness trainer, model, and even a male prostitute. In some photos, he was seen cuddling with a variety of women, some of whom were very expensive and famous. What surprised me even more was that Simon seemed to be using women for money and resources. He would coax the lonely rich women to fall in love with him, and then try to cheat them out of their money. In his computer, I even found a long target list, and Jenny was on it. "My God," I muttered, "this man, he's a complete fraud. He doesn't love Jenny at all. He just wants to cheat her out of her money." When I thought of Jenny being cheated by such a man, I felt a pain that tore my heart and lungs apart. I hated Simon. I hated his lies and deception. But I hated myself even more. I hated myself for not realizing Jenny's unhappiness earlier, and I hated myself for letting her get hurt. "I have to stop this," I said through gritted teeth. "I can't let Jenny continue to be taken in by that liar. No matter what, I'm going to get my wife back, and I'm going to get my family back." Kevin nodded and said, "I'm with you, Dave, but you have to be careful. Simon is a very cunning man. You need a perfect plan to make him irrefutable and make Jenny see him for what he really is." Yes, a perfect plan. I knew I had to calm down and think through every step. "I'm going to make Simon look bad in front of Jenny. and I'm going to show Jenny that the person she's really supposed to love has always been there for her. At that moment, I made up my mind. No matter what the cost, I would defend my marriage and my family, because that was the most precious thing in my life. Over the next few days, Kevin and I carefully planned our plan to expose Jenny's infidelity. We agreed to publicly expose Jenny's infidelity in front of all the guests at our wedding anniversary party. In order to gather more evidence, Kevin used all his connections. He found more photos of Jenny and Simon's rendezvous and even recorded their conversations in the hotel. At the same time, he also hacked into their email and text message records and found a lot of explicit words and plans for their affair. I, on the other hand, began to disguise myself, pretending that I knew nothing about Jenny's betrayal. I went to work as usual, chatted with Jenny as usual, and even offered to host a lavish silver wedding party, to which Jenny seemed a bit surprised, but happily agreed. Our silver wedding anniversary came and went very quickly. The banquet was held in the most luxurious hotel in Boston, and we invited hundreds of guests, including many business and political celebrities. Jenny wore a silver white evening gown, dignified and elegant, amazingly beautiful. I looked at her with mixed feelings. Halfway through the party, I stood up, tapped my champagne glass, and signaled for silence. Dear guests, thank you for coming to Jenny and I's silver wedding party. 25 years, we've been through a lot of storms together, but our love has never changed. Jenny, you are the most wonderful gift in my life. Without you, I can't imagine what life would be like. There was loud applause from the stage, and Jenny looked at me with affection and tears in her eyes. I took a deep breath and continued, but today, I have to be here to reveal the heartbreaking fact that Jenny, my dear wife, betrayed our marriage and our love. The whole room was in an uproar. The guests were talking. Jenny looked at me in disbelief. Her face changed. I slowly turned on the projector, and on the huge screen, there were intimate photos of Jenny and Simon, as well as emails and text messages between them. There was a gasp, and Jenny covered her face, sobbing uncontrollably. Just then, Kevin's cell phone rang. He picked up the phone, and a look of joy appeared on his face. He walked over to me and whispered, "Dave, the police have arrested Simon at his place. They found a large amount of drugs there, and Simon is going to be in deep shit this time." I nodded, but there was no joy in my heart. I walked over to Jenny and slowly knelt down. "Jenny, I love you. I always have. But you hurt me. You hurt this family. I don't know if we can ever be the same again." Tears blurred my eyes, and I turned around and left the banquet hall. Behind me, Jenny's cries and the guests' comments made a cacophony of noise. I knew that all of this would be tomorrow's media headlines, but I don't care anymore. All I knew was that my marriage, my family, was broken forever, and I was about to start a new, unknown life. The drama of the silver wedding party caused a huge uproar in Boston high society. For a while, Jenny and I were on the front page of every newspaper and magazine and became the talk of the town. For me, this was certainly a heavy blow. I had to face questions and accusations from all sides. Some said I was an incompetent husband. Some said I was a narrow-minded man. Many others expressed their disbelief and sympathy for the way I handled the situation. But for Jenny, it was a devastating blow. She lost her proud reputation and status overnight and became the object of scorn. Her friends cut her off, and even the charitable organizations she was involved with asked her to resign from all positions. Sean and Danny are also very confused and saddened by this. They couldn't understand why their parents, who had loved each other for 25 years, had come to this point. They were also disappointed and even angry at Jenny for what she had done. Over the next few days, Jenny and I separated. She moved to an apartment on the outskirts of town and I stayed in our home. We began a long and bitter divorce proceeding, arguing over property division and child custody. I devoted myself to my work and tried to numb my pain. But whenever the night is quiet, I still can't help but think of Jenny and the little things we had. Love. Can you really say put it down, just put it down? Jenny was devastated and spent her days in tears. She called me countless times, begging me for forgiveness, saying she would do anything to save our marriage. But I know that once something is broken, it can never be repaired. As time passed, I heard some news about Jenny. Some said she'd left Boston for a small town on the West Coast. Others said she met a new man there and started a new life. I didn't know which was the truth, but I sincerely hoped that she would find true happiness. I, on the other hand, slowly moved on from the pain. I began to re-examine my life and my marriage. I realized that the problem between Ginny and I was not simply her betrayal. In many cases, I had neglected her feelings and our relationship. I began to learn to communicate more with my children and to understand how they think. I also began to reflect on my role as a husband and father and how I could be a better man. The divorce proceedings are still going on, but I don't care so much about the outcome anymore. Because I know that no matter how it ends, I have risen from the ashes of this marriage and found the meaning and direction of life again. Perhaps this is the meaning of life. If you fall down, get up again. If you lose, find again. There is no hurt that lasts forever, no difficulty that cannot be overcome. In the darkness before the dawn, the light of dawn will come, and I am walking firmly towards that light. The storm of divorce gradually subsided, and my life gradually got on track. Although I lost Jenny, I did not lose my courage and hope in life. On the contrary, I felt an unprecedented relief and freedom. I began to re-examine my life and think about what was really important. I realized that for the past 25 years, I had put too much time and energy into my career and neglected the people closest to me. I decided to make some changes from now on. First of all, I started to spend more time with Sean and Danny. We ate together, we exercised together, we talked together. Gradually, we became closer and closer, and they began to understand and accept the changes in the family. I also began to participate in community activities, volunteering at homeless shelters and delivering food and clothing to those in need. Through these activities, I met many like-minded people and rediscovered the meaning and value of life. In my career, I started to experiment with new possibilities. I invested in several innovative projects and started to focus on environmental protection and sustainable development. I hope that my company will not only generate profits, but also make a positive difference in the world. Gradually, my life was filled with sunshine and laughter again. I knew that I had come out of the darkness of my broken marriage and started a brand new journey in life. As for Jenny, word on the street is that her new life on the West Coast isn't going as well as she'd hoped. Her new relationship ended quickly, and she couldn't find a sense of belonging in her new neighborhood. People talk about her past, and she grows lonely and depressed. One day, I got a call from Jenny. She cried and apologized to me, saying that she really regretted it and hoped to get my forgiveness. I was silent for a long time and finally said softly, "Jenny, I forgive you, but our marriage can't go back. I hope you can find true happiness, just like I am now." Hanging up the phone, I looked out the window. The sun was shining and the birds were singing. I knew that I had truly stepped out of the past and ushered in a brand new beginning. Life is like that. The ups and downs are unpredictable. But as long as we harbor hope, courage to go forward, we will be able to find their own piece of the sky. Thank you for taking the time to listen to today's story. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you have a story to share about your own or someone else's experience, please feel free to contact me. Take care.